But he said, I don't think he could win. I don't think he could win. He's too progressive coming from this state and what he's done in this state to win in any southern state, any red state. I disagreed, but no, this is a progressive African-American owned station, and I'm sure they like you, but he doesn't think you can win.
If there's one hard truth in politics, it's that your own side can sometimes hit you harder than your opponents ever will. Gavin Newsom just learned that lesson the brutal way. When Bill Maher, someone who has openly praised him in the past, starts openly mocking your leadership on national television, that's not a random jab. That's a warning flare. Maher didn't just poke at policy failures. He dismantled Newsom's image piece by piece, going after his ambition, his persona, and reducing his entire record to one shallow takeaway. According to Maher, the most impressive thing about Gavin Newsom is that he looks the part.
Newsom is the governor of California, home to 12% of all Americans and 50% of all Mexicans. On the upside, Newsom is the only governor, with the possible exception of Kristi Noem, who looks like they could do.
That's a painful spot to land. Imagine governing the most powerful state in the country and having your legacy boiled down to physical appearance. But honestly, that sums up the criticism perfectly. California has unmatched wealth, innovation, and resources. Yet under Newsom's leadership, it has become a case study in progressive failure. Homelessness is exploding. Crime is rising. Businesses are fleeing. Taxes are crushing. And instead of tackling those problems head-on, Newsom's most publicized wins include symbolic gestures like gender-neutral toy aisles. Bill Maher twisted the knife further by comparing the job of California governor to being Britney Spears' conservator. Translation: it is a mess nobody wants to own.
I don't want to say he really wants to be the guy who steps in if the current nominee goes down, but he gets an alert on his phone every time Biden can't think of a word. The downside is that governor of California is kind of like being conservator for Britney Spears.
That comparison wasn't just a joke. It was a direct indictment of leadership. When running one of the richest states on earth gets likened to managing a celebrity meltdown, something has gone seriously wrong. Maher made it clear he wasn't just cracking jokes. He was saying out loud what many Californians already feel. Take homelessness. California has embraced policies that prioritize tolerance over enforcement. Free services, relaxed laws, and little accountability turn sidewalks into tent cities. When you make life on the street easier, more people end up on the street. Compassion without structure quickly turns into chaos.
Attack him on California's homeless problem, but there's a response to that. The homeless can live anywhere, but they choose California.
Crime follows the same pattern. California has become lenient to the point of absurdity. Smash and grab theft barely gets punished. Criminals cycle in and out of the system with minimal consequences. Meanwhile, law-abiding citizens deal with unsafe neighborhoods and shuttered businesses. And it doesn't stop there. California is losing people at a staggering rate. Major companies are leaving. High-profile figures are leaving. Middle-class families are leaving. Elon Musk left. Joe Rogan left. Countless small businesses packed up and ran. Sky-high taxes, endless regulation, and outrageous living costs have made staying nearly impossible. A state that should be a model for success has become a warning label.
Of course, the knock on Gavin has always been that he's slick. Yeah, you know what? I'm okay with that. I noticed slick is something no one has been accusing Biden of lately. Do you want good at talking or don't you? Newsom is the best communicator in the party with a history of standing up to bullies, and his name lends itself to the best slogan since I Like Ike. I'm having Gavin.
Newsom's strength has always been presentation. He's polished, confident, and camera-ready. For a while that was enough. He could deliver soaring speeches and glide past tough questions with ease. But charm doesn't build housing. Smooth talk doesn't lower crime. A good smile doesn't keep companies from leaving. Eventually, voters start asking for results. And they are asking now. Bill Maher even shared a moment from a progressive, Black-owned radio station where the host admitted Newsom was too far left to win nationally. That wasn't conservative criticism. that was coming from his own ideological camp.
I was on KBLA yesterday, with my friend Tavis Smiley. I'm an investor and a supporter of that station. And he said, "Who do you want for running president?" I mentioned, "I think you'd be good at the job." Not this year, we know. No, I know. But he said, I don't think he could win. I don't think he could win. He's too progressive coming from this state and what he's done in this state to win in any southern state, any red state. I disagreed, but no, this is a progressive African-American owned station, and I'm sure they like you, but he doesn't think.
When your allies start saying you can't win, the problem is serious. Newsom knows it too. That's why he keeps positioning himself as the backup plan if Biden stumbles. He denies presidential ambitions, but no one buys it. The question is obvious. If he struggles to govern California, why would anyone trust him to govern the country? And this is where the woke distractions really hurt him. Maher absolutely skewered California's law requiring large toy stores to create gender-neutral sections.
The swing states, there's only 8 of them.
Right. Well, I mean, California is an interesting case study, isn't it? It's the size of 21 state populations combined.
Yeah.
2/3 of the state is very deeply red. We don't need to be lectured on rural politics or border issues. I mean, in so many ways, these are familiar issues, and the issues of the heartland of the United States are very much a part and parcel of the work we're doing in this state. But look, I understand this notion that you're from the coast, you don't understand those things. You can't talk the language. You're not able to communicate. And you're not able to actually encourage and find that common ground.
No, it's stuff like there's a new law in this. I think we have way too many regulations and laws, as we've talked about. And this one, I think, says if you're a department store with over 500 employees, you have to have a gender-neutral toy department. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Think about that for a moment. While homelessness spirals and crime surges, the state is micromanaging toy aisles. Families are drowning under rent. Small businesses are suffocating under regulation. Neighborhoods feel less safe every year. And the government's focus is whether dolls and toy trucks share shelf space. That isn't leadership. That's pandering. It's performative politics designed to impress activists while ignoring real problems. And voters see right through it.
Much government there.
That's an interesting one because the department stores came to us supporting that. And they were the ones making a case for that. They were making a case they're already moving in that direction.
Wanted you to make a law about them?
Well, they supported the legislation. It wasn't legislation that was enacted, that was initiated from my office, but it was legislation that came up with interesting support from the industry itself. But I understand how that's exploited, and good people can disagree. But that's not something we woke up and said, this is a top priority for the state, when we know the top priorities are homelessness, housing, the issues of crime, quality of life, and issues related to regulation and taxes, which are all top of mind.
Then there's the water issue, which borders on absurd. Nearly 80% of California's water goes to agriculture, and a massive portion of that supports almond farming. 1 pound of almonds takes over 1,900 gallons of water to produce. Let that sink in.
Good job this year making it rain.
You're welcome. That was my legislative priority.
It was looking bad there for a while, and we still don't have enough water in the Colorado River and all this stuff. And then whenever I read 80% of the water goes to agriculture, almonds. No one ever asked you about almonds? Oh, I'm going to ask you about almonds.
At the same time, everyday Californians are told to ration water like they're living in a permanent drought emergency. Shorter showers, dead lawns, strict limits. Meanwhile, industrial farming operations consume billions of gallons. When pressed on this imbalance, Newsom responds with polished speeches about climate challenges and modernization. It sounds good, but it solves nothing. Once again, style replaces substance.
So, a boatload of almonds.
I'm well aware.
You know how much water it takes?
Many gallons.
1,900 gallons to grow a pound of almonds. Come on, man. Take on big almond.
Take on big almond.
I mean, it's not like we don't have the water.
No. You're right about it. It's not that we don't have the water. That said, the last couple of years were tough. I mean, but it's also where the water's falling and we're not capturing it. And we're not capturing in those extreme years with these atmospheric rivers. Wets are getting a lot wetter, dry's drier, hot's getting a lot hotter. And so we've got to modernize our conveyance system. We've got to modernize our storage, not just above ground, but below ground. And so that's a big part of our focus and frame, including desalinization plants. We have 20 projects just on desal that we're working on today. So we put out a detailed detailed water strategy that includes, by the way, getting that Delta Conveyance project back up and operational, and includes the first above-ground off-stream storage facility in half a century in the state, which, by the way, is being aided by a regulatory package I pushed forward to reduce red tape in the state of California.
That's the pattern Bill Maher keeps exposing. Newsom sounds like he's doing something while accomplishing very little. He knows all the right phrases. He delivers speeches that feel like progress. But when you look at the results, the state is clearly declining. Systems are broken. Costs are soaring. Trust is eroding. And yet some people still want this man to be president. If California is the preview, the country should be nervous.
Good at this.
What?
See, I'm telling you're good at this job. Okay, but here's the thing. Okay, but here's, I feel like the last couple of years you've like purposely picked this fight with the red states. I mean, the yeah, but I don't want to live in the Civil War country.
I agree with that.
You know what?
Well,
but you seem like you purposely want to set up this dichotomy between, this is a blue state and that's a red state, and I don't want to live in that country. I like Florida.
I'm with you. And by the way, I like Florida as well. I like all these states. I completely agree. I don't want to have a state of mind that's a constant fight or flight. We've gone through so much. We've been polarized and traumatized. There's been a tough 5-6 years across the globe, not just in this country. That said, I'm not going to sit back and watch. You made the point just a moment ago in your monologue. You got folks out there trying to bring us back to a pre-1960s world. America in reverse, rolling back voting rights, LGBTQ rights, women's rights, not just access to abortion, but
Under Gavin Newsom, California isn't leading the nation forward. It's serving as a cautionary tale. Woke politics, polished speeches, and empty promises can only go so far before reality catches up. Bill Maher summed it up perfectly. Newsom is slick, articulate, and confident, but beneath the surface there's very little substance. At a time when Americans want real solutions, that's not leadership. That's a well-dressed disaster. So the question is simple. Is Gavin Newsom the future of the Democratic Party, or just another smooth-talking politician with great hair and weak results? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like and subscribe for more straight-shooting breakdowns. More is coming and you won't want to miss it.